Whether you celebrate or criticize the MCU, it has redefined modern movies, mostly thanks to Kevin Feige's decades of studying what audiences respond to. But as beloved as his franchise formula is, the more everyone tried to copy it, the more obvious its fatal flaw became.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people.
Comics may have popularized the idea of crossovers, but Marvel was hardly the first shared cinematic universe. Other examples predate them, like Looney Tunes Back in Action, a Warner Bros. Movie made 9 years before Avengers. It's got Batman, Scooby-Doo, and Doctor Who, a cacophony of cameos that works because they stick to each character's canon. Even with the Looney Tunes cast, animators fought Warner Bros. To keep them authentic. They understood if you betray the character, you betray the audience, something Marvel has forgotten.
We're casting personas that have already been proven to work when you put them all together. Tony Stark, Hulk, Thor, Cap, they're such different personalities, right? So you cast the best person for those personalities, you do your job right, when you put them together, it's gonna be as fun as it is in the comics.
Back in Phase 1, they held a reverence for authenticity. Look at Thor. The 2011 version is still his most comic-accurate portrayal. A hot-headed prince learning diplomacy by gaining allies and not creating enemies. Fast forward to 2023, and he's a dopey clown. Other Avengers like Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Ant-Man shared the same fate of becoming dumber and less powerful over time. So why are the Avengers regressing instead of progressing? Because their franchise formula depends on cinema to fuel it. When other studios copy Marvel instead of competing, everyone loses. Maybe the intention is to steal like great artists, yet without rivals pushing them to improve, they got complacent, comfortable enough to stop stealing from other movies and start stealing from themselves. That means recycling whatever worked before into whatever comes next. Now more effort is put into tying the universe together, not writing contained and compelling stories. They expect audiences to tolerate boring plots so they don't miss another piece of the puzzle. Ant-Man 3 proved this. It left audiences incapable of caring and fans making fun of the final product, all from relying on past success. This priority to connect everything hurts crossovers too. People got excited for Thor 4 as Guardians of the Galaxy, but it only lasted 10 minutes and played out as one big punchline. Whereas in Looney Tunes Back in Action, franchises mixed to push the story forward. It felt organic when characters shared the screen because the filmmakers cared as much as the fans did. They wanted to earn our time instead of wasting it.
But a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts.
Remember when everyone complained that Game of Thrones needs more than 7 seasons, but no one did when Breaking Bad ended after only 5? Pacing is difficult to get right. El Camino came out too soon for its demographic to care, but Better Call Saul was released long enough after that people were immediately invested. An audience only grows fond when you give them distance. Disregarding that leads to pandering. So real quick, how many times has Loki died? Trick question. The answer depends on the fans, not the filmmakers. Marvel will keep resurrecting him as long as fans want. In fact, there are plenty of characters who soak up screen time not for the sake of the story, rather they show up to feed fan expectations, something Marvel used to balance perfectly. Back in other phases, they kept their cards close to the chest. Today, they announce every single business meeting and actor visiting the office. It might be an attempt to keep people invested, but a quick Google search will tell you Phase 5 is the most confusing Marvel has ever been. By oversaturating the fandom and doubling down on stories that led nowhere, the big picture no longer makes sense. Not even Marvel knows what it's doing anymore. They've become meta enough to reference themselves, which takes up space for original ideas. This self-cannibalization can be found in many areas, like the end credit scene. It began as a delicious tease of the future, then decomposed into throwaway jokes and irrelevancy. Now, only a miracle could save this universe from itself.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
With Disney CEO admitting to mistakes, what happens next is unclear. A reboot would only make things messier, as shown by DC, whereas bringing actors back would confirm how desperate Marvel is to stay relevant. So I recommend a bold move. Stop. Out of the
14,605,000
possible outcomes, that is the simplest one, because it's
Inevitable.
Consider how many projects they failed to start. I doubt the strikes helped those delays. Should DC release serious competition soon, it could bury Marvel, or benefit them if they take time to regroup like James Gunn. So please, from one Kev to another, take a step back. Start stealing like great artists again. Look at films outside the MCU, otherwise the world will look down on you.